my friends, to the show that never ends. Come inside, come inside. I'm still smoking my Dagner cob. I've lost my pipe cleaners. I've had to rearrange my life in order to make this video. First, I was sitting over there, and because when I sit here, I can't see my computer screen because the background is so bright and my eyes are so crappy. So I got all set up for that, and then the sun decided to bake my head. So I moved. I like to tan evenly, not just from one side. Anyway, I got everything rearranged, and here I am, and here you are. So, there goes a nice red-tailed hawk. So let's get to it. You have questions, I have answers. I asked you about a week ago, something like that, to ask me some questions, and you did. And I'm going to strain my eyes in order to see them. So if I look funnier, you'll know why. I said nothing was off limits. And nothing was taboo or anything like that. So let's dig in and see what we got. These are in no particular order. Actually, they are. They're in the order that they show up on the comments on my old video. So, without further ado, Saddle Tramp Piper, Nick, says, told you I can't see this. Were you really, I know what it says, but I want to get the words right. Were you really the second gunman on the grassy knoll, or is that just YTPC gossip? It is gossip. If I had been the second gunman on the grassy knoll, well, first of all, I was still 4 years in the making when that happened. 4 years and 1 month. If I had been the second gunman, there would have been no need for a first gunman. I cannot, however, either confirm or deny the reports that my mother was on the grassy knoll that day. Question number 2. Actually, questions number 2 through about 18. These are from the Smoking Rooster. And these are some good ones. Let me see if I'm... Okay, I'm telling you, I'm blind. He has a plethora of questions, either or kind of questions. His first one is oatmeal or cream of wheat. I've never eaten cream of wheat, and I've only eaten oatmeal about 3 times. Just not a fan when there are so many better breakfast foods out there, such as bacon. Speaking of breakfast foods, pancakes or French toast? While I enjoy French toast, I almost never eat it because pancakes are so much more versatile. At least the ones I get. They add blueberries or whatever to them. I suppose you could do that to French toast as well. It's almost always about 99 cents to add 3 pancakes to anything at IHOP too, so. We eat breakfast at this other place call scrambles around here that has some really, really good breakfast food. And they sell whole wheat pancakes in addition to everything else. Those things are the most dense, filling things I have ever eaten in my life. Three of those pancakes, and you'll be lucky if you finish them. Good stuff. So pancakes on that one. Pork butt cooked slow and low, or a ribeye steak. Things get more difficult here. I love steak in just about any form, but slow cooked pork butt, again, very versatile. You can do some great stuff with that. Here in California, barbecue is either the act or the appliance that you cook on. Where I'm from, barbecue is the end result. And some good pork barbecue can't be beat. So I'm going to say pork butt, just because there's so much you can do with it, and I don't think I could live without barbecue. Although, give me a steak as well. Let's see here. Told you I was convoluted on that one. Uh-oh. Sorry. And my inability to see my screen, I had some kind of pop-up jump right in the middle of it. Regular milk or chocolate milk? Not a fan of chocolate milk. I rarely drink regular milk because my wife thinks 1% or 2% is milk. I, on the other hand, know better. So we almost never have regular milk in the house. Coffee or tea? Coffee. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Matter of fact, regular milk or chocolate milk? Coffee. Love coffee. Eggs, scrambled, hard-boiled, or sunny side up? I can eat them just about any way. Typically, if I make them for myself, it's either an omelet or scrambled. Just because I find it easier to do stuff with them, more options and stuff like that. Leave It to Beaver or Gilligan's Island? Marianne. Okay. Columbo or The Andy Griffith Show? Andy Griffith Show. Best TV show ever made. Best TV show that will ever be made. Ain't You Got a Jack? Gunsmoke or The Rifleman? Here things get a little tougher, but that's one of those trivia questions I used to know the answer to. How many shots did the rifleman fire at the beginning of the show? 13. Count them. But Gunsmoke, so much so that I have recently, actually just within the last couple of weeks, have been watching on YouTube or listening on YouTube to the old radio show. I've just been getting into that, and every single episode of the radio show and the TV show still exists. None of them have been lost. I've never really listened to radio shows before, and I've been enjoying this one so far. William Conrad is actually Matt, plays Matt Dillon on it. And so far, it's a completely different Matt Dillon. James Arness's version on TV was more of a nicer guy, more made for TV, kind of the typical good guy. William Conrad's version is just like, don't mess with me. He's kind of a badass. The TV version has two of my favorite characters ever on TV, and that's Chester and Festus. I actually know someone whose mother dated Festus later in life. So Gunsmoke on that one. Bonanza or the Big Valley? I never really watched the Big Valley much. I think that was Barbara Stanwyck. She was a little old for me at the time. But you can't beat some good Hoss Cartwright. I watched Bonanza a lot when I was growing up. So I'm going to have to go Bonanza on that one. Why haven't you checked in on my last 3 videos? Smoking Rooster says, why haven't you checked in on my last 3 videos? When he wrote that, I had checked in on his third, or the first of his last 3, but I hadn't checked in on the following 2, and here's why. They weren't Smoking Rooster videos. They were videos made by the Smoking Rooster about the Smoking Rooster, concerning the Smoking Rooster, but they weren't Smoking Rooster videos. In that you neglected on both of those videos to say, all right, I'm out. And I boycotted them just on principle. So don't forget that. And he says it's all in good fun, and I knew that. Let's see who else is on here checking in. My buddy Sean Safor, Ghost Cobb, says, this is the thinker here. If you could sit down and have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why? I've pondered that question many times, and I usually come up with a different person every time. Some of the people that I've thought about sitting down and having dinner with just to talk to them and for various reasons have been Ronald Reagan, Charles Manson, Eisenhower, Patton. You'll notice a theme here. Lyndon Baines Johnson, not for the reasons you might expect. His Secretary of Defense, Robert McNamara, I'd really like to sit down and talk to him. I hold almost no respect for either one of those guys. Woodrow Wilson, who I also don't respect. Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt, Bobby Orr, Rod Carew, Tom Seaver. All these are people I would like to talk to. But I think more often than not, the 2 that I always come back to, actually 3, but I'm only going to include 2 here, are Thomas Jefferson, because I would just really like to know what it was like at that time for him personally, for what he was doing, what he was going through, the things he saw, the stuff he heard, the plans he made, what led him to say this or that or write this or that. A lot of stuff I'd like to discuss with Thomas. But the first one that I'd really like to sit down and talk to, I think more than any of the others, I'll put a little caveat in here. Some people would probably expect me to say Jesus. I talk to him all the time. But for this video, the answer is George Washington. Because I think he was, without a doubt, the greatest president ever. And will remain that way until this country is no more, regardless of what any other president ever says or does. I don't think they will be able to match what Washington did. And I think the thing that makes him different than all other presidents is he didn't seek out the office. He had no desire to have the office. He executed the duties more faithfully and fully, I think, than any other president ever has, without, as far as I can read and study up on, with no real agenda as far as a political or faction-related agendas. Everyone in the country at the time, in most sense, seemed to have respected his views and what he did, who he was prior to being president. He was just the greatest servant this country has ever seen or will ever see, I believe. A lot could be learned from his example. Unfortunately, 43 other presidents seem not to have learned anything from his example. Or 44, I can't remember what number we're on now. This last one made me lose count of everything. Even some that I consider to be great presidents can't hold a candle to Washington. Times were different, people were different, circumstances, everything was different, and simply not possible to do what he did. So there you have it, General George Washington. I would love to sit down and talk to him. Randy from Beard Booze asks, what made you decide to grow a beard? How's it make you feel? And really anything to do about your beard journey. I'm already at 18 minutes. I've had a beard or some form thereof since I was first able to grow hair. But I've never had a full beard until this year. I've had big old long Scott Ian from Anthrax goatees, just like, I think it was about 8 inches long. That was immediately prior to this one. I've had, back when I was probably, I was 20 years old, I had these big old long, I called them Hetfields. James Hetfield had these scraggly ass sideburns that went all the way down to his neck. I had a set of those for a while. I've had every possible incarnation of a goatee that you could imagine. My mustache has never been this long before. It's pretty long, or it's getting there. It's hard to eat, and a lot of people with big beards trim their mustache right around their mouth. I've chosen not to, at least for a year, just to see how it goes and what happens with it. I have a weird beard facial hair. This side of my face grows faster than this side. This side of my mustache isn't as long, not as full as this one. And this portion of my beard is not as long and full as this one. So I have to kind of, use Beard Booze products to make it look the way I want to. What made me decide to grow it out? I think, like I said, I had a pretty long goatee. I'd cut about 4 inches off of it at that point, and I was in a chronic pain management program, and I was high as a kite 24 hours a day for months, and didn't know my name. I mean, I was totally addicted to this crap. Oxycontin, morphine, all this garbage. And I was in Southern California, and as part of our anniversary trip, we went to visit the grave of Randy Rhoads, which I was very interested in doing. While I was standing there, I had my wife take a couple of pictures of me. And I hadn't shaved the rest of my face except for my goatee. Hadn't shaved it in probably 2 or 3 weeks, just out of laziness, or had forgotten, or who knows what at that point. When I was going through my pictures, the lighting and the length of my beard at that point made it apparent that there was actually a beard to be had. And I just never cut it after that. That was in April. So I think I'm about 9 months into this journey. And how does it make me feel? This may sound weird to people that don't have beards, and probably weird to some people that do have beards. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. I'm completely enamored with my beard. I spent way too much time in front of a mirror, way too much money on beard products, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Good news and bad news with beard products. I use a lot of them. Good news is, the bad news is, it's expensive for me. The good news is, for you, Randy, I like your products. So, probably keep your family fed for a few days out of the month. But I really do appreciate you and Heather and your company as well. Thanks for the question. Next, if I can see it here. This is stupid having to guide my eyes. This is from Raw Bills. Speaking of beards, Raw Bills has a great beard. He's my mentor. He says, "You're living in California, right? Seems to me that you'd be living in a southern state." I don't know what would give you that idea. As I drop my pipe. It's not like I have an accent or anything. Actually, I kind of mask my accent a lot of times. Sometimes on here, sometimes when I'm talking to people. Not that I'm ashamed of it or anything like that. I just don't like having to repeat myself. And a lot of people I talk to on a regular basis can't understand a damn word I say. If I talk to my family on the phone, or talk to one of my friends or something like that, my accent comes out a lot deeper than it is here. I start sounding like a hee-haw character or something. I don't know. I've got two or three people in my family that have really, really thick Southern accents. We're in the early planning stages of moving back to Alabama. And I'm going to have to teach my wife a second language when we get back there, because she's going to be lost. What made me move to California? I'll steal a line from Good Will Hunting. I had to go see about a girl. I'm drawing ash through my pipe. That's a long story. If I tell the whole thing the way I like to tell it, it takes about an hour. But in the infancy of the internet, at least what the public knows of the infancy of the internet, in the early 90s, there was a a feature on the internet called IRC, Internet Relay Chat. It's basically just chat rooms. And I got in one of those chat rooms one night and found a great bunch of people in there that I like to hang out with and chat with, and one of them happened to be my future wife, and we befriended each other, and not too terribly long after that, my computer that I had at the time crashed, and I was unable to get another one, and all this garbage. We became pen pals, and we wrote over the course of about 7 years, I think. We wrote boxes and boxes, shoe boxes full of letters. I think we have 3 shoe boxes full of letters that we wrote back and forth. And I got to know her better than I've ever known anybody, I guess. And finally, our friendship decided it wanted to be more than a friendship. And she came to visit me, my family. I came to visit her and her family. And next time she came to visit me, a few months after that, we loaded up the truck and moved to Beverly, so to speak. Drove across country in a U-Haul truck, and actually Ryder truck. And I've been here ever since. That was in December of 2000. So I was chasing a woman across the country is what led me to California. That has stuck. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, if I can find his comment. Yep, Jerry's Pipes. Jerry, I appreciate you watching my channel. I appreciate all of you. Jerry doesn't make videos, but he's as much a part of this community as anybody, in my opinion. He asked the same thing. He says, I agree with Raw Bills. What took you to California? That was it. Berg says, what makes you such an awesome friend? That one's, I can't answer that for 2 reasons. First reason is I don't think I'm such an awesome friend. It's hard to be humble and answer a question like that. I think what makes a person be such a good friend is their desire to be a better friend than they already are, and that's where I'm at. I don't think I'm the friend that I want to be for people. I would like to do a whole lot more and be more accessible and just be better. And maybe that's what people, I don't know, maybe what they get out of my friendship. I don't know. I've heard people say that I'm genuine, honest, down-to-earth person. I hope that I can live up to those words. But yeah, I think in order to be a good friend, you have to be the friend that you want others to be to you. And in that respect, you set the bar very high, Berg, because you're an absolutely fantastic friend and a great person, and I'm honored and blessed to know you. I mean that from the bowels of my innards, buddy. Let's see what we got. What else we got here? Old khakis. Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing. Wes asked, how many pipes do you own and daily smoke? Well, I just got 3 more today, if you saw my last video, and that brings me up to 10. I have Cobb's. I have a Country Gentleman, a Washington, a John Keller Custom that was gifted to me by Simon. This one that was gifted to me by Berg. And that's my Cobb's. Then Briar, I've got a Dr. Graybo that was gifted to me by Berg, a Peterson that was gifted to me by Blakemar Briars that was gifted to me by Simon. 2 new Dagners that I won in a contest from Sam, Living Free Piper. That's 10. And I have one more on the way. Not on the way, but I have another one that I won from Leo Aldepold. I can't remember what kind that one is. It hasn't been made yet. And I'm sorry, Leo, for forgetting, but that'll be number 11. And I plan on purchasing, not plan, I've got one, a custom made in the works from Jad's Pipes. We've been talking about it preliminarily so far and getting the design down and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to that one. And one of these days I hope to have me some kind of Savinelli 320. And I've been thinking about buying a bag of those cobs from Missouri Meerschaum, that 10-pack of seconds, just to mess around with and maybe try to mod some of them or to have some extra pipes. But at the moment, 10. 3 of them haven't been smoked yet. Daily smoke, on the days that I smoke, which is usually about 5 days a week, I typically have 2 or 3 pipes a day. I'd say on average I probably have 10 bowls a week, somewhere in there. And that's that. One more, and I said at the start of my other video, you could ask me anything and there were no stupid questions. Well, I was proven wrong. Okay, there was a stupid question that was asked. That was that was by my friend Jason, and he asked, just how big a fan are you of the Crimson Tide? That doesn't even deserve an answer. Let's see, how big of a fan am I of the Crimson Tide? I can't come up with anything. Matter of fact, I can't think of a single team out there that they play that I don't root for. War damn Eagle, buddy. With that, if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to leave me a comment or whatever. I may do another one of these at some point. This turned into 33 minutes, and I hate that you had to wait around for the answers if you had to. I don't hate it for Jason because he deserves to live in pain for even asking me that question. But, anyway, you guys have a good day. Thanks a lot for the questions. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being friends, and I look forward to much more interacting with you guys. I might try to do a live video at some point. I've seen a few of those, and I like the way they work out, so maybe we'll do something live. But anyway, I've got a couple more videos that I'm going to get out today or tomorrow, so look forward to those if you're not burned out already. Take care.